We got 4 days until kickoff, and these are the position battles that might bleed into Friday night's game.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, happy game week to all of those that celebrate here. And you know that we do right here at Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week. Please rate, review, subscribe, comment below the position battle that still has your eye because, well, according to Jonathan Smith, who spoke to the media today, there's still a handful of battles that might not be solved until, well, Friday night, and maybe even after. This could bleed a few weeks into the season, guys. So we're going to talk about, talking about things, what Jonathan Smith said at media availability, and then we are joined by another guy that does some talking for a living. Guys, this was awesome. Robin Hook, he's been the voice of Broncos sports since 1984. He brings us up to speed on Western Michigan football, their season outlook, where they're going to be strong going into Friday night, so stick around for segments 2 and 3. But, hey, let's talk about it. Jonathan Smith spoke to the fine media contingent of the Michigan State beat here, and he mentioned offensive line, defensive back, edge, wide receiver, and running backs as the 5 position groups that will still have a little bit of shuffling to do, even just 4 days out of kickoff. Now, offensive line, yeah, you could see why there might be a little bit of a logjam, a little bit of mystery here, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, too. There are some position battles where, yes, honestly, it's probably because, no one's made themselves the clear-cut favorite. And that might be a little concerning. Hopefully someone can find their headway starting this Friday, but I don't think offensive line is necessarily one of them. I think you got some depth, you got some experience, you got a little bit of talent with this offensive line, primarily in the middle. You're looking at Gavin Brocious, you're looking at Matt Golden, maybe Christian Phillips for that third interior offensive line spot, right, guys? But they also brought on Luka Vincic from Oregon State. This is a kid that had 300-plus snaps between guard and center last year for the Beavers. Rakeem Johnson, as a true freshman last year, showed some really good flashes, including having to start at left tackle very early in last season so he could play interior, he could play outside. And there's also a guy, too, Ashton Lepo. He was your starting right tackle last year. It's looking like Connor Moore's going to be the starter this year, but that's a guy with a lot of experience, hundreds of snaps from a season ago. So I would assume that you could see Ashton Lepo getting on the field a good chunk as well. So defensive back, this is the total mystery. I mean, guys, if this is your first episode that you've watched this offseason, let me just give you the cliff notes of all the other conversations that we've had about defensive back, and I don't know what to expect. We know that the starters could be Joshua Eaton at that first corner position. Chance Rucker's looking to be that second corner. But guys, they brought in a lot of transfers. 4 transfer corners. They also have true freshman Aiden West that's really getting a lot of shine so far in fall camp. And they also had 3 safety transfers too, guys. And a lot of these transfers, if not all of them, except for Devin Cromwell, who came from Texas Tech, came from a lower level, right? Like UConn, Eastern Illinois, Bowling Green, just for example. So what are you going to get out of that group? Are they ready to play Power 4 football right off the bat? Who is peeking their head out amongst the rest of them? We just don't know. And it looks like the coaching staff, yes, they have their inklings perhaps, but they don't really entirely know who the solidified starters will be going into Friday night. Now, the edge position, this is one where it's okay. Someone has to stand out here in the early stages of the season because, hey, look, it's fun to hear that, there's not a lot of separation between guys 1 through 4. But I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing with a position that is the biggest question mark on the team going in. For the position, that was the thorn in Michigan State's side last year. Like, yes, you got David Santiago. He produced as a redshirt freshman at Air Force last year. That's all fun and well. Tyler Gillison comes back from last year. He was injured all of last year. Anello Lafayette didn't play at all for Wisconsin last year as a 4-star kid out of high school. And then Isaac Smith, he comes from a Power 4 school in Texas Tech, but kind of lost his starting role in the middle of last year. So, yes, they're going to keep rotating these guys. Hopefully someone makes some noise starting this Friday night, but that's a position group. It doesn't look like it has a lot of separation. I think that's a little bit of a concern, but hey, hopefully one of those guys can prove me wrong. And it is just a case of, hey, all 4 of these guys are just maulers. We'll see. Wide receiver, I think that this is one of the good things going on right now with this team. As you guys know, we are very high in this position group. But Jonathan Smith said that as many as 6 wide receivers can get some run on Friday night. Nick Marsh, Omari Kelly, Christian McCray, Rodney Bullard, Evan Boyd, Braylon Collier, your true freshman. Now, those are names that I thought of. He didn't go as far as naming the 6 guys. And I want to add a 7th here. Charles Taplin, I would not be shocked to see on the field. This is a guy that repeatedly is getting praise and praise and praise this offseason, even as a true freshman that was like not even ranked in the top 1,400 players in the nation last year. So this guy's a track star. He could burn it. He could turn it. Let's see if he finds himself on the field on Friday. And the other position group that we could see a good rotation with is the running back position, guys, right? So, look, Brandon Tolis, he appears to be one of the top 2 guys. The other guy, Mekhi Frazier. And Jonathan Smith specifically spoke about Mekhi Frazier on Monday. This is a tweet from Emmett Matazowski. One of these times, I will confidently say your last name, Emmett, but Emmett was one of the fine reporters there, doing some great tweeting on behalf of the Michigan State media contingent. And he said about Mekhi Frazier, quote, "He is close to being a complete back, can put his foot in the ground, make you miss, can catch out of the backfield. Brandon Tolis is a downfield runner, can block well out of the backfield, as does Mekhi Frazier." So I think that it will be Tolis, maybe being the top guy, so to speak, this season. And then maybe as the weeks unfold, Mekhi Frazier jumps him. But really, I don't think it's going to be much separation. Like one day, Tolis is starting with 90% of the snaps. Frazier just gets 10% and is going to swing that violently during the season. I think it will be a split back at least for the first month, if not longer, the rest of the season here. And that's not to say that transfer out of Sacramento State, Eli Tautoliver, he won't get any shine. That would be your 3rd running back, which that is an interesting point because Jace Clarizio got some positive buzz so far out of fall camp especially. That's your 4-star guy, true freshman out of East Lansing High School, picked Michigan State over Alabama. Could he stick his neck out at all, get one of these top 3 running back positions? He could, but he did. And when I say he, Jonathan Smith did talk about freshmen and plans that he does have for freshmen. He said, quote, "There is a beauty in them and others having 4 games." Now, he was talking about Braylon Collier, Derek Simmons, Aiden West, Jaden Savory. I'll add Charles Taplin, and of course, Jace Clarizio is a guy I'm going to add too. But just like hard stop, just on the baseline, that is great to have a head coach at Michigan State that actually acknowledges the 4-game limit before their eligibility for a redshirt freshman season is burnt up. Unlike the last guy who really didn't care for, the 4-game limit and maximizing all 4 of their games and, hey, just unnecessarily throwing them out for a 5th game to burn up a year of eligibility, kind of like he did with Malik Spencer in 2022. Anyway, I'm here to let the past be the past. Let's not riff on that any longer. I do think it is interesting that he just by name did mention Collier, Derek Simmons, Aiden West, Jaden Savory. I could see Aiden West, look, at this late smoke that we are hearing that he is one of the better corners in the room. That's not a guy you want to limit to just 4 games for the sake of preserving eligibility. Look, Aiden West, yes, 3-star kid. Michigan State had to fight hard late in his recruitment to keep him away from Ohio State. So, hey, if Ohio State's liking one of our guys, yeah, you can feel okay about the evaluation right there. I think that is legitimate smoke that he could be a mainstay player here. So I don't maybe foresee him just staying a redshirt freshman, but hey, we'll see by the end of the year. Jaden Savory, tight end. That's a crowded tight end room, so I think that it will be a 4-game and over season for Jaden Savory. Derek Simmons, this is one of the true freshmen, top 250 player coming out of high school, out of Frankenmuth. Look, I could see him playing more than 4 games. I just spitballing here. That's not like a room that is just so rich in talent and experience. No, they could use any talent possible. If that comes from a true freshman, yeah, they might stick around for more than 4 games. Now, just a few injury updates, guys. Nikai Martinez could be back. Jonathan Smith did say that he did practice a few snaps on Monday. Now, this is from an injury, not specific injury. I don't believe it's been publicized what the injury actually is, but it has been carrying over from the spring. So definitely longer term. He has practiced a little bit, but Jonathan Smith did say that the safety that did start every game for last year will be a, quote, game time decision coming up for week 1. Now let's go to special teams because this is just where the injury bug is hanging out in the special teams room for Michigan State. Now the kicking issues, baffling because Martin Connaughton, this is one of the guys vying for that starting kicking role. He's going to be out a few more weeks with the groin issue. Tariq Amat-Basek, this is the other guy, the other kicker. He has also had groin issues. Now, he appears to be closer. He could, if I dare I say probable, will be your starting kicker for game 1. But Jonathan Smith did say that if Tarek cannot go for week 1, it will be Blake Sislow, who he did say was putting up similar kicking numbers in practice to what Jonathan Kim was doing last year. I love that. That's a great quote. Now, Blake Sislow, I'm just going to give him the rundown right now. 3 years at Davenport, never saw game action, did not play anywhere last year, tried out for Michigan State, and he made the team as the 3rd kicker this year. Look, kicking's weird, right? Like, you could see a 5-star kicker out of high school come in and never make an impact to the college game. You could have some program go and get the 4th best player from that university's club soccer team, and then they could just be great their entire career. So, look, I'm not going to write off Blake Sislow, but to never play at Davenport and then all of a sudden be as good of a kicker as Jonathan Kim, I'm a little reluctant to just buy into that immediately. But, hey, I'd be thrilled to be wrong about it. And then one more item, guys, Caden Schickel. He's your long snapper from last year. He played 8 games until he ended his season with an injury. He should be ready, is what Jonathan Smith said. But if not, freshman Jack Wills from Hudsonville, he will be up next. So, yeah, the injury bug. He's got a hammock right there just hanging out in that special teams room, guys. All right, we're going to be joined by the one, the only Robin Hook of Bronco Radio here, guys, to talk all things Western Michigan. But first, need to talk your ears off about FanDuel Sportsbook because it's upon us. That's right, guys. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on the NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, on a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. Hey, my fellow Lions fans, right now, our Detroit Lions 11-1 to win the Super Bowl. Throw that on your Futures Day slate. Or, hey, if you want an MVP candidate that has pretty decent odds, I do like the price here. CJ Stroud, 25-1 to win. Hey, not a great season last year. Could he bounce back from a shaky sophomore season to win a very gettable division, put up a butt ton of stats? Hey, I kind of see the vision here. So, hey, whatever it is, guys, Super Bowl, division winner, MVP, call your shot with FanDuel. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures right now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. It's FanDuel. Play your game. Also, guys, really important request here. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't like, answer questions about our advertising. So go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey and get started, and there could be something in it for you guys. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks ahead of time for helping us out, guys. All right, here he is, the one, the only Robin Hook. If you want to get to know Western Michigan football, well, God, we found the guy. I mean, ever since 1984, he has been the voice of all things Bronco athletics. It's the one, the only Robin Hook. And Robin, are you like the rest of us? Can you just not wait till kickoff right now?
Oh, really excited. It's been a nice summer, a great summer, but you can't beat fall. The football season is in the air right now, and we're kicking off Friday night in Spartans Stadium on national television.
And we're kind of speed running into like the football feeling because I think it's going to be a high of like 68, a low of 44. It's going to feel like a late September, early October game. So, hey, you know what? Summer's great. My favorite season. But yeah, football weather is going to smack us right in the face here this Friday. But Robert, let's get to know a little bit about Western here. Look, Michigan State, 19.5-point favorites for this game. They should win, all this and that. But look, this is going to be a team that's going to put up a fight, obviously. It's their first game of the season, too. So let's take it just through the whole offseason. What's been the tone amongst this Western program as we get closer to kickoff here?
Well, I think it's been a great tone, and it's kind of an amazing job by this coaching staff. Coach Lance Taylor entering his 3rd season, coming off a bowl opportunity a year ago. They went from 4 wins to 6 wins, got to a bowl game, now wanting to take that next step in year 3. Revamped the entire defense, brought in a whole new staff, a new coordinator who came over from the Los Angeles Chargers, former Notre Dame assistant Chris O'Leary, who worked with Lance Taylor when they were at Notre Dame, so very familiar with each other. He's brought a new energy on the defensive side of the football. Walt Bell's back as the offensive coordinator for his second year, so some familiarity there for the guys on that side of the football. Breaking in a new quarterback, though, so that's always something that you focus on. Two pretty good options, and a young man from California who is a junior college All-American, Brady Jones, who can really sling it. He can really throw the football. And then Brock Lowry, who's a transfer from Indiana, who was a backup quarterback last year. They used him in certain situations to run the football. He's a very strong runner. I mean, he could probably be a running back if he wanted to be, but he plays the quarterback position, and I'm guessing here early in the season we're going to see both of those guys, would be my guess.
Gotcha. And so the preseason MAC poll comes out, and 13 teams, Western Michigan, slotted at number 7, like right in the middle for the coaches poll in the preseason here. Does that sound right to you in the MAC standings? Do you think they're a little higher? What's your opinion on their outlook here?
About right. I'd say that's just right. And there are no more divisions in the MAC as there used to be.
Yep.
Last year was the first year for that. So the top 2 teams go to the MAC championship. Whether they can be one of those 2 teams, that remains to be seen, because with over 50 new players on a roster of 105, I mean, there's a lot of familiarity gotten to be done here, having to be done here before we kick things off. And I think they've done a great job with that. We had a luncheon last Friday, and the veterans have welcomed in the new guys, and the new guys have transitioned in seamlessly, it appears, at least on the surface anyway. And so we'll see how that works moving through the season. A very tough schedule, though, Matt.
Yes.
Broncos have the toughest schedule, certainly in the Lance Taylor era, with Michigan State to start. We got Illinois coming up in a couple of weeks. A lot of people think they might win the Big Ten.
Yeah, they could.
And then the 3 last Mid-American Conference champions on the schedule: Toledo, Ohio, and Miami of Ohio. So tough sledding. See if they can get it done.
And I like what you said earlier about, so much overturn in college football, because of course we feel it at the Power 4 level. It does seem like there's dozens, if not, it really does seem like hundreds of new players on a roster at some points, depending on the program. But the group of 5 level, certainly no difference. A lot of turnover on the roster. So I'm going to take this question the opposite way here. Where's there the most continuity on this Western roster right now?
Well, I would say probably on the defensive line. And they did bring in some new guys that were even featured last week in the football luncheon. So a young man transferred from Houston, Nadeem Tucker, and another young man transferred from Nicholls State. He also played at Louisiana Tech. His name is Kershawn Fisher, and he is good as well. And I've watched some practice. They're doing a good job, but they're not alone there at defensive end. Defensive tackle spot, a little bit up in the air, but coach seems to think that that's going to be a strength of their team, and that's a good place to start, that defensive line. These football games are won in the trenches. That's not just a cliche, it's the truth.
Yeah.
So whoever blocks the best and whoever stops the run normally wins the football game.
Yeah, certainly. We found out the easy way and the hard way in the last few years here at Michigan State. And look, speaking of the last few years here at Michigan State, there's a guy on Western's team that played at Michigan State what seems like 18 years ago. I swear Tate Hallock was here during the John L. Smith era, but now, of course, he is in the secondary at Western, one of the starting safeties. Is he the key player in that secondary at Western, or is there another guy that pops up into your head when I ask for best secondary player on the Broncos?
Well, Tate Hallock is an outstanding football player. I think he'll have a chance at the next level, if only because he's 6 feet 4 inches tall, playing in the second. He can run, he can tackle. He's a great leader. Gets everybody lined up properly in the secondary. He loves his new defensive coordinator, Chris O'Leary, who happens to be his position coach. He also coaches the safeties, and so he brings that winning attitude over to the secondary. And Tate had a pick 6 against Central Michigan. He's the top returning tackler from last year's team, and had 4 interceptions, including a pick 6 at Central Michigan. So he's an outstanding football player, and great to have him back. I think it's his 7th year. He's had some injuries over the years, but his entire family went to Michigan State, as did he for the first few years of his career. And now he is a Bronco through and through, and he's looking forward to this opportunity. He said it's the only time he'll ever root against Michigan State will be Friday.
Yeah, right. We'll see if the family's got like those split jerseys, Broncos on one side, Spartans on the other, but I got a hard time believing that's going to be the case here. I'm going to just assume, like you said, they're wearing some brown on Friday night. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that could take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average, in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. You can even read real customer reviews on their site. It's helping a lot of people feel more confident and present in the moment. So head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege and use promo code LockedOnCollege for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. Just the flip sides of the ball here. You talked about him just for a little bit. Brady Jones, quarterback, junior college stud from Riverside Community College, hailing in from the great state of California here. What is like the key to his game? I know you mentioned big arm. Is there any dual threat capability to him? Is he pure pocket passer? How would you just describe how he uses his legs in the game?
He can run. He can run quite a bit. I haven't seen him in practice doing a lot of that, but the coaches certainly can. Maybe not to the level that Brock Lowry does, because Brock is a physical football player.
Okay.
I mean, he could be a linebacker, to be honest.
Sure.
But Brady Jones, the thing I love about him is he's 6 feet 4 inches tall, and he can see over the line. He can roll out and throw on the run, and he can really spin the football, man. I mean, he reminds me a little bit throwing the football of a guy we had here a few years ago, Caleb Ellaby. Caleb could throw the daylights out of the football, and so can Brady Jones. So it's just a matter of grasping the offense and stepping up quite a bit in the level of football from junior college to Division I, and we'll see. I'm anxious to see what he can do. I think he's going to be really good.
And how about top targets? Anyone coming back from last year? Is it an entire new crop of receivers, or what are we looking at as far as his targets go?
Pretty new group of wide receivers. One guy who's back is Malik Dudon, who has explosive speed and is a deep threat, but they got a transfer from Georgia Tech who started at Alabama, and anxious to see what he can do. That is number one for the Broncos. Christian Leary is a grad student from Florida and transferred here from Georgia Tech. He's not big, but he can fly. And then there's another transfer playing at wide receiver from Georgia Tech, Talik Williams, who's really stood out in camp. And then there's a young freshman who I think is going to be really, really good. You know, we had a freshman who was at Western Michigan, ended up transferring to Michigan State, and now he plays for the Green Bay Packers. This kid reminds me a little of him.
Okay.
His name is Avion Chenault. He's
okay.
Lexington, Kentucky. And I saw him making some super catches from Brady Jones earlier in camp. So wouldn't be shocked to see Avion Chenault, number 18, lining up out there.
Yeah, no kidding. Thanks a lot for, letting Jaden Reed wander over to East Lansing too. I had a great time watching him play, so much appreciated.
We called him Bird. That was his nickname. He played with Peyton Thorne in high school, and Peyton was supposed to come to Western Michigan. He was solid and everything, and then the late change in that commitment over to Michigan State, and I think it was just a matter of time before Bird landed over there with the Spartans.
Yeah.
Now he's catching passes for the Packers.
He's doing okay for himself, I think. Yeah, it's all worked out for Jaden over here so far. But yeah,
I called 4 touchdown grabs in one game by him as a freshman.
You probably had a feeling that something special was going to be happening in that young man's life once that happened. That's a good indicator. 4 TDs in a single evening, not too shabby. Look, I also noticed Jalen Buckley. I mean, this is a guy that returned from last year, if I'm not mistaken, at the running back position. Is that certified bell cow running back? Is he going to be splitting carries with anyone on Friday night, you think? Or is it pretty much 80-20 split? He's going to be the show at running back.
No, I think they'll rotate. Last year, Jalen was here, and they rotated 3 running backs. I think you're going to see that. Coach wants to keep the pounding to a minimum and take a beating, as you know, running the football in Division I football.
Yeah.
Jalen Buckley is a Big Ten running back. He is big, strong, fast. First game last year at Wisconsin, he was running all over the Badger defense, running through their secondary. And he is a really good back. He could have moved on and gone anywhere, really. Chose to stay at Western Michigan, as did Tate Halleck. Coach Taylor is proud of the fact that in his tenure, only 3 starters have left through the transfer portal. So that's
impressive.
About the team unity and the togetherness that they have over there at Waldo Stadium with those guys. But Jalen Buckley, yes, he's legit. He was a freshman All-American, ran for over 1,000 yards as a freshman. He has 1,700 yards rushing over his career and I believe 19 rushing touchdowns. So, and he's only a junior, so still has more football ahead of him.
So as a member of the high-functioning anxiety club over here, I will be losing sleep as we get closer to kickoff. Yes, Michigan State almost favored by 20 points, but please, Michigan State could be playing East Lansing High School, and I would still lose sleep the night before a game here. So, Robin, I'm going to ask you to make this even worse, actually. What should be worrying me the most as we get closer to kickoff? Is it this quarterback? Is it something else? What's Western's path to stunning the world week 1 and making me sob in Spartan Stadium? What's it going to be?
You know what? I think it's the improvement on team speed on both sides of the football.
Okay.
Broncos are much faster than they were in the previous 2 seasons under Lance Taylor. More speed in the backfield, more speed on the edge, more speed in the secondary, and more speed on the ends of the defensive line. And it's visible just watching them in practice. The improvement in team speed that the coaching staff has brought in here. Now, does that translate into wins? Who knows? But it sure can't hurt. And I think that was maybe part of the issue a year ago. The other guy we didn't talk about in the receiving game is Blake Bosma, tight end senior from Holland, who could have moved on and chose to stay. He caught 3 touchdown passes in one game last year at Ball State. He had 6 for the season. And they added some depth at tight end. They brought in a Williamston, Michigan kid who's a redshirt senior, transferred from Marshall. His name is Cade Conley, and he's really been showing up in practice too. So look for those 2 guys. The big question mark probably, Matt, for this team is offensive line. Had 4 guys move on to the next level. I'm not sure how many are going to stick, but 4 offensive linemen moved on. And so plugging 3 holes. They did get a starter back who missed all of last year, Adam Vandervest, who was a starter, missed all of last year. He got a knee injury late in fall camp before the year, and he missed the whole season, but he's back at one of the tackle spots. And then John Hofer, who's an interior offensive lineman, can really move around and allow some flexibility up there. But those 2 guys will anchor the offensive line. It's finding the other 3 pieces to make it go. And they brought in some transfers. They've got some younger guys who have developed, and we'll see if they're ready to go on Friday night.
And to cap off our chat here, which, first of all, thanks a lot for your time, your insight. This has been awesome. We're going to go to the baseball field, though, because just like we talked about a little beforehand, at the bottom of your bio, it said, hey, you're the father of Jared Hook. Now, Jared Hook played baseball at Michigan State. Pretty sure we overlapped. I remember the announcer, Jared Hook, and then he would drop a bomb in the Red Cedar River. But what's just your favorite memory of Jared playing baseball at Michigan State? Does something come to mind immediately for you?
Well, it was that 2011 championship season when they
that helps. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Enjoyed watching him play. I coached him growing up after Little League and then through, the AAU ball, playing all over the country and with a good group of Kalamazoo Maroons, we were called, and coached those guys. And many of them went on to play college baseball. Jared was one of them. And he had a knee injury his freshman season. It kind of set him back. But then I was really proud of him, the way he battled back to get on the field. And Coach Boss stuck him in there in the middle of the lineup in 2011 and 2012 and got to the NCAA tournament that next year. Didn't win the title, but going to those Big Ten tournaments in Columbus was a lot of fun. And going over to the complex there at Michigan State, which was brand new when he was just there. And so it was a lot of fun and really enjoyed my time following Michigan State baseball. But it's all Broncos now, buddy.
Yep. Well, completely understandable. I mean, you've only been the voice of the program since 1984. I mean, I think that there's a lot of brown and gold running through those veins over there. So, Robin, I cannot thank you enough for your time, your insight. Same with all the viewers, all the listeners, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be back tomorrow. You already know this. We're going to be with Mike Jones of Can't Read, Can't Write, talking all things Michigan State football and Friday's game. But until then, take care of yourselves. Love you all. Go Green.